Mystery group lived in central Argentina for millennia. Ancient DNA reveals. New study fills major gap in genetic map of ancient human migrations. Let's talk about it. This is a cool paper that taught us quite a bit about South America.
In the heart of South America, stretching for thousands of square kilometers, lie the pampas of Argentina. A seemingly endless sea of grass, this landscape has been shaped by wind, water, and time. For millennia, it was a frontier of human survival, a place of constant movement and adaptation. We have found their tools, like the distinctive fishtail projectile points that litter the continent, telling a story of rapid expansion. But the human story here has remained fragmented. While we knew of great genetic lineages anchored in the Andes, the Amazon, and distant Patagonia, the people of this central land remained a mystery.
Previous ancient DNA analysis had identified three major ancestries in South America, centered in the central Andes, the Amazon and Patagonia. Central Argentina, which is kind of in the middle of all that, that was a blind spot genetically, and these researchers wanted to see, was that area kind of a blending of these three other groups?
Were they a crossroads, a melting pot of the continent's diverse peoples? Or did they hold a unique identity, a story all their own? For centuries, that question lingered. Now, through the power of ancient DNA, we finally have an answer, and it's not what anyone expected. For most of archaeological history, our understanding of South America's first peoples was based on what they left behind: stone tools, pottery, and the scattered remains of ancient settlements. These artifacts suggested a dynamic history, with people and ideas moving freely across the continent. The prevailing theory was that populations mixed and mingled, creating a complex tapestry of genetic heritage. Genetic studies confirmed this, identifying three major ancestral groups that formed the bedrock of the continent's indigenous populations. But central Argentina, a vast plain without mountains or dense jungles to act as barriers, was presumed to be a zone of mixture, a place where these great lineages met. But a landmark study, published in the journal Nature in November of 2025, has challenged this entire picture.
And that's where the surprise came in, because in the area there is a lot of change over time. New cultures develop, new agricultural methods, things that when we look at the other side of the world, we see a lot of replacement of populations and a lot of population movement. But that doesn't seem to be the same here in South America.
An international team of researchers, led by geneticist Rodrigo Nors from the National University of Córdoba in Argentina, set out to build the most comprehensive genetic history of the region to date. Their central question was simple, as Dr. Nors explained. Given its location in the middle of these three populations, were people here a mix of these ancestries or not? To answer this, the team turned to the most direct evidence of our past, ancient DNA, or aDNA. They gathered skeletal remains from over 230 ancient individuals, spanning a remarkable 10,000 years of Argentinian history. The challenge was immense. DNA is a fragile molecule, and in many climates, it degrades quickly. But using state-of-the-art clean rooms and advanced extraction techniques, they were able to retrieve genetic information. The primary technique they used is called genome-wide analysis. Think of it like restoring a massive, ancient library where most of the books are damaged. Instead of trying to read one or two complete books, which might be impossible, you scan millions of fragments from every book in the library. By comparing these fragments to each other and to books from other libraries, you can reconstruct the original texts and see which libraries shared authors and stories. In the same way, the researchers didn't need a complete genome from every individual. They analyzed hundreds of thousands of specific points across the DNA, known as SNPs, or single nucleotide polymorphisms. By comparing these genetic markers across all 230 individuals and with known databases of other ancient and modern populations, they could build a high-resolution genetic map, revealing how these ancient people were related to each other and to the outside world. The results were startling. Instead of a mixture of Andean, Amazonian, and Patagonian ancestries, the data revealed something entirely new: a fourth, previously unknown deep genetic lineage. This unique group was not a blend of its neighbors. It was a distinct population that had persisted in central Argentina for at least 8,500 years. Even more surprising was their incredible genetic isolation. For over 8 millennia, they barely mixed with the surrounding populations. This is a puzzle. The Pampas have no major geographical barriers. People could, and did, move through this region. Yet, this group maintained its distinct genetic identity through profound environmental and cultural shifts. They endured millennia of droughts. They witnessed the transition from nomadic hunting to settled agriculture. They even saw the arrival of new people from the Amazon. And through it all, their core genetic signature remained unchanged. The study also found a fascinating disconnect between biology and culture. In the historic era, this region was home to a multitude of different languages, yet the DNA showed that people who spoke these different languages often shared the same deep genetic ancestry. Their cultural identities were diverse, but their biological roots were the same. This discovery fundamentally changes what we thought we knew about the human story in South America. It tells us that the continent was not a simple melting pot. Instead, invisible cultural boundaries, as powerful as any mountain range, could keep populations separate for thousands of years. The people of this deep lineage chose, for reasons we may never fully understand, to remain distinct. It suggests a world where social identity and cultural tradition were the primary forces shaping human interaction, more so than geography. These weren't just passive inhabitants of the land, they were active agents in their own history, maintaining a continuous 8,500-year-old legacy in the face of constant change. And that legacy has not disappeared. The genetic trail may fade from the archaeological record around the 1800s, but the study found that this deep lineage is still the main indigenous American ancestry found in the people of the region today, a living link to an incredibly ancient past. While this study answers a profound question, it opens up many more. Why did this group remain so isolated? What cultural practices or social structures allowed them to maintain their identity for so long? And how did their story end, or rather, transform into the modern populations of Argentina? In the years ahead, researchers will work to connect this genetic data with the archaeological record. By linking this deep lineage to specific pottery styles, tools, or burial practices, they hope to put a cultural face to this genetic ghost. Each new piece of evidence will help us understand the rich, complex history of a people who were lost to science but never truly gone. The story of humanity is written not just in stone and bone, but in the very code of life that connects us to our most distant ancestors. The lost people of Argentina remind us that there are still entire chapters of our shared history waiting to be read. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious. Heritage. Genetic studies confirm this, identifying 3 major ancestral groups that form the bedrock of the continent's indigenous populations. But central Argentina, a vast plain without mountains or dense jungles to act as barriers, was presumed to be a zone of mixture, a place where these great lineages